His name is Karl-Heinz Oettinger. It's his business to know what other people don't know.
Welcome to Uranian Astrology TV. I am Karl-Heinz Oettinger, and through Uranian Astrology, I will try to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. I begin with a quote from Vladimir Putin that says, "To forgive the terrorist is up to God, but to send them there is up to me." There is a similar video in Greek, but this video should be considered an extended version since I'm going to put in an astrocartography, a special and unique technique. So, let's see who Alexei Navalny was. Alexei Navalny was considered a prominent Russian opposition figure, lawyer, and anti-corruption activist. He gained widespread attention from his investigations into corruption of high-ranking Russian officials, as well as for his criticism of President Vladimir Putin and the ruling United Russia Party. Navalny organized large-scale protests against government corruption and election fraud, resulting in a multiple arrests and legal challenges. Navalny first rose to national prominence in Russia through his blog, which published investigations into corruption between government officials and state-owned companies. He later founded the Foundation for Fighting Corruption, FBK, which continues his investigative work and organized anti-corruption protests. The problem is that it turned out that Navalny was a wingman of the Western secret services. There is a video of him talking with a member of a British intelligence service. I can add this video due copyright, but you can hear at audio format.
We would expand our activities, of course, with a little money. If somebody would spend, I don't know, $10, $20 million a year on supporting this, we would see quite different picture. And this, not a big amount of money for people who have villas at stake with this need. Yeah. So that's the message that I'm trying to projecting by fundraising efforts and lobbying all different communities. Yeah, we need to play on different chessboards. Yeah. With products, civil initiatives, and the propaganda, establishing partners with the elite and explaining to them that we are reasonable people and not we're not going to demolish everything and not take away their assets, things like so. We'll see what comes out of that. So this broadly describes what I do. Okay. It was a blend of me, but before, yeah, I mean, what's the word about it? Not a small job.
But the majority of the Western media try to present him as a holy man and try to forget his radical ultranationalist past. In August 2020, Navalny became seriously ill on a flight from Siberia to Moscow. He has initially traded in Russia, but after pressure from his family and international leaders, he was transferred to German hospital and diagnosed with Novichok poisoning. His family accused the Russian government of being behind the poisoning, which the Kremlin denied. Navalny recovered from the poisoning and returned to Russia in January 2021, where he was arrested at the airport for violating the terms of temporary detention from a previous conviction, which his supporters believed was politically motivated. His arrest sparked a widespread protest across Russia. But in August 2023, he was sentenced to 19 years in prison for action against the constitution of Russian Federation. Finally, on 16 February 2024, Alexei Navalny died while walking, according to the Russian government. In the end, it was a death from natural causes or premeditated death as a murder, which they are trying to make it look like a natural death. Here we'll try to see what his astrological natal chart always say through the Uranian perspective. The first step is to see the point, vernal point, sun. That sun, that point, that midpoint at natal chart show us the course or the path, if you want, of life. As you can see, if we try to connect this one and connect with the line exactly the middle of midpoint, we can see Moon and Admetos. First of all, friendships and contacts with women, the female body. Okay, but if we change with the moon with Admetos, a burial, death, farms, plots and land, the property related to plots, fields, etc. As if I try to open this very useful table, I see very close the midpoint Jupiter Chronos, and Jupiter Chronos talking about the axis of economic independence and charity, the benevolent boss, great lack, laws and institution for financial institution, the national bank of each country, economic independence, compensation approved or ordered by the state, regulation to the money system for the national bank, one who has tips, a good teacher, a wise parent, like through the authorities. And of course have ascendant Saturn. separation, the person to whom one will say Ed goodbye, forced by circumstances, to experience refusal, given the cold shoulder, separation from other people, other person. And if I add admitos, it's very, very close. To be concerned by other people, to be crowded by local condition, a concern for a while, feelings of guilt. And with Jupiter, Chronos Hypotheticos, gladly spent money, lack for a few in a small way, to be leader of a few. And I suppose that's 100% correct. Of course, as we can see, we see here MC Zeus. This is a fantastic midpoint because talking about mental heat and flame for creation, the motivation of great achievements, the ability to direct energy to specific point, success considered guaranteed, but if I add admitos, the whole meaning of this equation totally changes. A man who will eventually overcome the difficulties that will arise in the beginning, fighting against everything is against my positions. As we can see, those equations talking about fights for the meaning of the life, fights for his own existence. And of course, here we have vernal point Saturn equals admitos, neglect, obstruction, to be urged into a corner, general restriction and curbing, obstruction and stand still. The second step is to try to explain to you who are the purpose of his own life. If we try to see and explain and understand the purpose of our existence, it's necessary to try to explain the equations of vernal point. As we can see, at 31 first minutes of degree, we have Poseidon. With vernal point Poseidon, ideas and culture, spiritual state, propaganda, the fake media news. And of course, that is 100% correct. But it's very important to see 1, 2, 3 equations, because the first one, admitos vulcanus, compression and reduction of wants, the blow from fate, the big obstacle in action, a large wall standing in front of me. a very hard midpoint. I add the vernal point, and the explanation is the general public, treated harshly by fate, must show firmness and power of resistance, give and take the hard way with reference to the general public. And I add Poseidon to be strongly limited to subjected to hindrances and handicaps by fate with regard to mental or intellectual education, development, and culture. Mental bondage to be under guardianship. 100% correct. And this last one, last but not least, Uranus Hades, sudden death, including murder, hasty package, murder, short-term illness, disease related to the blood circulation, rare disease, and I add vernal point. Sudden events cause death, murder. Unexpected events are taking a toll of life, sudden murder. And of course, I make a change to vernal point with Poseidon to see through angry acts, detection of mean acts of murder, finding the motives for heinous act. Through the circuitation, his death have some it's very important for the global situation, but it's necessary to understand something about the date of the death. 16 February 2024, unknown time of the death, but as we can see, we proceed exactly the same move. Vernal point, sun. If I looked at transit, I looked talking about the path or the course of the day. Of course, as you can see, we have Saturn Poseidon, and we have Sun with Saturn, Neptune, excuse me, not Poseidon, Neptune, because in Greeks, the Neptune called Poseidonas, and the Poseidon, it's very, very similar. As you can see, the axis of poor health, fraud, theft, losings, chronic diseases, chronic condition, sickness. Okay. The second one, the solar arc Sun, we see it's under Jupiter, volcanoes, and Zeus, and that's extraordinary. But it's necessary to see and to observe, because as we can see, we will find with 1 minute of degree Sun Saturn. The axis that demonstrates physical sensitivity and tendency to disease. Poor physical condition, the day or year in the case of annual, realization of karma. The day or year in the case of annual, that we have a bad mood or even mourning. Disease and illness, physical separations, and of course the day or the year in case of annual, realization of karma. Okay. As we can see, we're talking about a very, very difficult days, and the solar arc Almitos in the most cases indicates the end. Almitos, it's exactly opposite to Almitos Natal. We have Moon Almitos at the natal chart, and with this solar arc, they reproduced the natal chart. If I open this table, this board, not table, excuse me, this board, as you can see, we have 0 the vernal point Sun, vernal point Sun equals Almitos, burial, death. Okay. One very close. Okay. And of course, transit Neptune equals Mars, and we have Saturn of Volcanoes, Saturn Volcanoes equal Neptune. To be a prisoner or dependent, not seeing the termination, to be a prisoner or dependent indefinitely, and with Mars, to be under guard while working, to be compelled to work as a prisoner, and let's try to make to see about the position of death, the place of death, the FKUIK3 Polar Wolf Arctic Prison, the local ascendant 18 point as you can see at At this direction, we find Mars, Saturn, the axis that show the relation with the senior but out of the contact with senior government official or agents. No, excuse me, that one. The axis of death and disease. Resignation and dismissal, separation, funeral, death, forced separation, and of course, at this place with astrocartography, if he asked in the past someone who used Uranian astrology or astrocartography, he was telling him it's a very bad area. This because you are under the danger of death. I suppose we're talking about murder, not accident, not about someone who died, about physical conditions, and with Neptune, and according his natal chart, we're talking about poisoning. But I feel his wife, she will continue his duty. I believe it's very bad from Vladimir Putin this death, because she must face all the criticism of global community, and especially the Western media and leaders. Thank you. Bye bye.